Business Representative
the College of Business Representative,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
uphold and follow
the
policies of the Student Senate and the Student Senate Constitution.
the policies of the Student Senate and Student Senate Constitution.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Senator Morrison. Now, in similar news, sadly, Senator Amsden has also taken a position at a accounting firm, and he will not be able to fulfill the duties as a senator, but his alternate, Michael McCarthy, has decided to pick up his seat. So, Mr. McCarthy, I'm going to ask you to come on up and take your oath of office. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Michael McCarthy,
Do solemnly swear that I will,
solemnly swear that,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
fulfill the duties and responsibilities
fulfill the duties and responsibilities
of resident representative,
of resident representative,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
uphold and follow
uphold
the policies of the Student Senate and the Student Senate Constitution.
the policies of the Student Senate and the Student Senate Constitution.
Congratulations. Congratulations to both of you. I am very happy to welcome you aboard the Student Senate train. Now, moving on, we are going to talk about some dining hall changes, and we have General Manager of our dining hall, Mark Marson, here for that. So I will allocate 10 minutes to this conversation. The floor is yours.
Thank you. So, hello, everybody. I just wanted to come by and at least inform you about some of the changes, and if there were any questions or concerns, just to at least be able to let me know, as well as I met most people last semester, but, introduce myself as well. So some of the changes for this semester, Ghost Kitchen is a new concept we're rolling out. We're going to be piloting and testing it. So it's not going to be a permanent concept, but kind of figuring out where it works and how it works and if it works at all. So just so everybody's aware, it's not going to be an ad to be taken away, but we want to find out if it works. So we're going to be doing it in 2 phases to start. Phase 1 is going to start this Friday. It's going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, delivery only. Going to be run through the retail location, but not fully through there. And it's going to run 1 hour post close hours. So it will be an additional hour of service after hours. It's going to be launching with items like wings, mozzarella sticks, hot cookies delivered, and stuff like that. So we're going to test that out in phase 1 for 2 weeks and kind of see how that goes. Then we're going to move it over to the campus center for phase 2, do a storefront over there to see if that space is still usable and that it promotes enough kind of late night activity. And we're going to test that out Monday through Thursday, looking at traffic patterns. It's not as much time on the weekend, so we're going to try it during the week. We're waiting on some data lines and stuff like that, so it might not be directly after the testing, but that will be phase 2, so that everybody's aware. So that will come as well. Starbucks added meal exchanges. I'm sure a lot of people saw those already. So those are added this semester. So you can currently get a coffee and a latte or a pastry for your meal exchange. We've already had requests for additional for hot chocolate or tea-based drinks. We're looking into that. Hot chocolates will be added to the menu soon, and then the tea-based drinks just have to look at a costing perspective whether we can do that. So keep the feedback on that coming as well from the student body, because that's great. Stress less zone in residential. So the old Peace of Mind pantry for gluten-free items is now the stress less zone. It's the addition of peanuts and tree nuts will be free from there as well. So the entire menu has been expanded in there. They're revitalizing that space. The waffle iron got added in there late last semester. That's going to continue in there. So a hot breakfast item as well. Restaurant rotations on Global Kitchen and the 3rd floor as well. We'll see the addition of ramen and mac and cheese based on some student feedback and time of year. So there'll be some new concepts over there, and that's ever changing. Staffing wise, we have a new executive chef on campus so that everybody's aware. JP is our new executive chef. We'll have some information going up about him. He's also doing a chef's table tomorrow to kind of introduce himself to campus during lunch or dinner, I'm not sure yet. But he'll be out there tomorrow as well to get to meet him. We've also added a lead baker to expand the baking program because that's kind of been lacking a little bit. So we hired a lead baker. He's working for us part-time. He's a retired pastry chef, just kind of looking to be able to help out. So that will be really good. So we'll see some expansion. He just started yesterday. So a couple of weeks, maybe next week, the following week, start to see some of those changes over there as well. Student engagement. So we started a series last semester towards the end of the semester. We did snow globes and a couple other little events that were not food-based. So we're going to be continuing that into this semester and looking at it as a bi-weekly programming. And we're going to be looking at different spaces. So we're starting this week with a create your own tea bag. Next week's going to be an essential oil, like make your own essential oil. So we're going to start a series like that and continue that for the semester, just so everybody's aware. We partnered with CAB to start highlighting events on the 3rd floor as well. So we're doing a movie night up there. We're doing a Mardi Gras night up there. And then we're doing bingo night as well. Bingo? Yeah, bingo's the 3rd one. I wasn't sure if it was bingo or trivia. So we're trying to highlight that space in the off hours, Thursday nights, weekend nights when we're doing events. It's a beautiful space up there. So commuter restaurant night to start engaging some of the commuters on campus as well. So we're going to do a commuter-only restaurant night in late February. We're going to be meeting with the Commuter Council later this month to kind of talk about that as well. We'll do our normal restaurant night, but we're going to add a commuter restaurant night and pilot that to see how that goes. It won't be cash only. It won't be a meal exchange or cash credit, DB or any of that. We'll see how it goes. And then we're also going to be meeting with them. We added to all commuters' meal plan a try before you buy program. So every commuter on campus got 2 free meals this semester. So any commuter can use it for meal exchanges, whether it's to be able to be involved in stuff in the dining hall. Sorry, it can't be used for meal exchanges. It can be used within the dining hall to get involved in events through the dining hall. But that way they can try it, see if they like it, and then buy a meal plan if they want. If not, they have 2 free meals that they're able to eat on campus. And then we're going to be meeting with the Commuter Council to highlight that, as well as the commuter restaurant night. Then we're returning some of the favorites: food trucks, farmers market, Chick-fil-A, and Kitchen 101. We're looking at some other spaces for some of the Kitchen 101, like the Bears Den downstairs for like a nighttime event. We're in talks to do like a create your own pasta, like how to make pasta and a simple sauce, stuff like that. So really expanding that program. And then open mic night. We're also working with the Golden Voices, are doing an open mic night. We're going to do 3 this semester. Some are going to be on the 1st floor, one in the 1st floor out by the front wall, one in the Bears Den at night with some light snacks and refreshments. And then we're going to do one on the weekend as part of like a brunch meal plan and do like an upscale brunch. So that's it. That's everything I have. So a lot of different changes, but just kind of wanted to let everybody know. Yeah.
At this time, I'm going to seek unanimous consent to add 6 minutes for questions. Any objections? No. Okay. Before I open the floor for questions, first off, I want to say thank you. I feel like a lot of the things that you had just gone over have been things that we have been talking about for the past 2 years. And it is so good to hear that they are finally coming to fruition, especially utilizing that space in the campus center that is fully operational. So thank you so much for all of your hard work on behalf of all of us. Yeah, so I'm going to open the floor for questions or comments. Senator Gotti.
Can you give us an update on what's happening with Halal Shack and the AI kiosks that I know you talked about?
Yes, AI kiosks are right now in the approval process through IT. We're working for security documents from them to make sure that the one card system is safe to be used on them. So once that's approved, we have quotes out for like running power and all of that. So ideally, I'm hoping possibly after spring break, but don't quote me on that. It may get pushed the next semester depending on how late it runs on some of that review, running power, all of that stuff. So we had looked at the AI for the bike coolers. We had looked at Just Baked as the pre-cooked meal options. And then we had looked at a pre-made smoothie machine that actually works in conjunction with the bike freezer. So you can store the frozen product in there and then be able to make your own smoothie. So, and then we're looking at La Riviera for one of the locations, Evergreen, and then the Athletic Center. So kind of looking at spreading across campus with some of those other options. So nothing is set in stone, but all the things that we're working through right now. And then as far as Halal Shack, it's still in talks currently. So it would not be this year because of the reconstruction and everything. If anything, it would be for next year.
Senator Scorpa.
So you mentioned ramen and mac and cheese specifically. Would this be something kind of like the burgers and fries that's kind of always available to students?
Not ramen, mac and cheese, ramen and mac and cheese. So the restaurants that we rotate on the second and third floors. So we're dropping some of the concepts like Mediterranean's running this week. We got the feedback from the students. We did the fall survey. We have those results. Plus they did a poll at the end of the semester on what everybody wanted to see. And mac and cheese was one of the full winners. So that got added in. And then given the time of year, ramen's a great concept to be able to offer. So we'll see how that goes.
Senator Goddard.
Just knowing that there's gonna be a whole bunch of religious holidays coming up, is the dining hall planning to help accommodate those students for like no meat on Fridays for like an area of option? Or if students are fasting during the day, do they have options to get food and like to go with that?
No meet on Friday. We hadn't talked about yet. So thank you for bringing that up. I'm going to write it up right now. And then Ramadan, we actually are working with MSA. We created an entire smart sheet ordering program that they've approved. So they'll be able to order all items a day ahead of time, and then there'll be a breakfast bag that they'll be able to take with them, as well as dates to help them break fast at the beginning of it. So we've been working with MSA directly to go through that. So something's in place already. They already have the form, and then they'll be able to select whether they want to use a meal swipe, fare box, or if they want to pay at the door for it. So, yep, some great options.
Senator Gilmore.
I have two quick questions. My first one is for those events that'll be located on the third floor, would students need to have a meal plan to access those, or will those be open for anybody?
No, because they're all after hours currently. So looking in the future at expanding that space during weekend hours, if it's during operational hours, something we're looking into, but no. As of right now, everything's post hours, so it works out very well.
Then my second question was for the Ghost Kitchen. Will those have meal swipe exchanges, or will that be
No,
only?
it will not. We're gonna test it without meal exchanges. I know meal exchanges would greatly skew the data, so I don't want to include them. If we are going to include them, it would be something like the storefront in the long term does great and the campus center at late night, and we're not opening this location, and that is instead something like that that we would look at if we were gonna put something permanent in place.
Senator Baker.
For the ghost kitchens, how would delivery work to Gateway?
So it's all through the robots. So it's gonna be through the robot delivery platform. So.
Okay.
So it's a little way to promote Grubhub, the robots, offer some late night services as well. So see how the extended hour after midnight breakfast, a lot of students comments and feedback were, see, we love to be here late and get food. So just kind of some pilot testing. I think the pilot testing in the campus center where it's pickup or delivery will probably do slightly better though.
We have a minute left, so Senator Hunt.
This is a quick question to follow up on the meal slips. Are they allowed to use bear bucks for those for the ghost
Yes.
kitchens? Okay.
Last question, if there is one. Senator Holman.
How would the robots like get to Gateway because they have to cross the street?
Oh, sorry, Gateway's across the street. I was
Yeah.
thinking about the building southwest. They can't get to Gateway yet, no, sorry about that. The school won't permit them to cross the street yet. That's something we're looking at for next year. So, thank you for that follow-up, because it cleared that up. I apologize for that.
Okay.
Our time has expired, but thank you so much for coming out and thank you so much for all the amazing updates. I can't wait to see everything that's coming. All right, next we're gonna move into club reactivations. And I'm gonna hand the floor over to Chairperson Amaya.
Thank you. At this time, I make the recommendation for the Golden Bear Commuter Council to be reactivated.
So moved.
Second.
I'm gonna allocate 3 minutes to this conversation. The floor is yours again.
So the Golden Bear Commuter Council was deactivated last semester after all executive board members had either graduated or did not return. However, substantial work has been done to revive the club since its deactivation and interest has returned. I would like to pass the floor off to a representative of the Golden Bear Commuter Council to talk more about the club and their process.
Hello, I'm Michael Pedro. I'm the president of the commuter council. So what we're gonna do is our goal is to try to create like a better community environment for commuter engagement. So like we want commuters to be more involved on campus because like a lot of people just come here, go to class, go home. Like, I mean, obviously none of the commuters in here do that. Like Senate. So one of the things we're looking at doing is like Mark said, the commuter restaurant night. We're working on teaming up with Aramark for that. And we're gonna try to like make commuter life more like fun, like more reasons for people to like want to commute and stuff like that. Like the commuters tend to be like off campus and like they never really like go to events and stuff. I've noticed like most people that go to events are residents. Like I've been fairly involved on campus. I'm also the president of the yearbook committee, so I know what it's like to get involved. And I feel like a lot more people and like a lot more people I know don't like get nearly as involved as commuters. And I feel like it would be a lot better like for people to be involved on campus.
First off, I want to thank you, Michael Pedro, for bringing this back. When I became a commuter rep, the commuter council was 2 executive board members strong, and then it died. So thank you so much for bringing it back. I think this is a very, very valuable group to have on our campus. It's a group that, besides just us, advocates on behalf of commuters and helps get resources for commuters specifically out there to the rest of the campus community too. So I have no doubt that you are going to run it well and really help this campus community on behalf of the commuters. So thank you very much. Do we have any questions or comments? Okay, we're gonna move into a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. Next, we are going to move into constitutional amendments, and I'm going to hand the floor back to Chairperson Amaya.
Thank you. At this time, I make the recommendation for the Student Senate to accept and recognize the revisions made to the cheerleading club constitution.
So moved.
Second.
During a second, I'm gonna allocate 4 minutes to this conversation. Floor is yours.
Although this constitution is in the legislative committee folder under the pending constitution, some of the revisions that were made to the constitution include just rules for stunting and etiquette. This was brought on after they were upgraded to a club level sport last semester in the fall. And yeah, I would like to pass the floor to the cheerleading club representative to discuss more of the changes made in the club.
Hi, I'm the president of the cheer team. So with some we wanted just some general upkeep of our constitution as well as like reflecting some like changes that we could have, like better changes that we could have based on some things that we've had happen past semester. So we mainly just talked about like if anyone violates any part of our constitution, like the ways to like properly like remove somebody from the club or from an executive board position in like a fair manner. The things just to like keep meeting times like formal, so like announcing changes a certain amount of days in advance rather than just like forcing like you have to be there today or else like it's an attendance mark on you, because we have stuff like that in the Senate Constitution. So we thought it would be like only fair and like etiquette to have that like in our own constitution. And then just some basic stuff that we had essentially forgotten when we initially changed our constitution to a club sport, like when we should be having our e-board elections for like the next term. We had it set that we should have our elections, I believe said in March before, which doesn't make sense because our showcase is in April. So we'd be getting a new e-board before our season was over. So just stuff like that, just to make it make more sense. And then there was also specific rules about like safety at practice, as Chairperson Amaya said, and we just said that like certified coaches or at least one certified coach must be present at our practices for like safety purposes. That's about it.
The floor is open for any questions or comments. Okay, seeing none, we will do a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we will move to the pre-pharmacy club constitutional amendments. The floor is yours.
Before we start, is there a representative from the pre-pharmacy? Okay, great, just wanted to confirm. So at this time, I make the recommendation for the Student Senate to accept and recognize the revisions made to the Pharmacy Club Constitution.
So moved.
Second.
During a second, 4 minutes is allocated. The floor is yours.
So this constitution is also under the legislative committee folder under pending constitutions in case anyone would like to view it. But this constitution had not been updated since 2012 and had some outdated information and language in it. So that was reason for the update. Some of things that were also added were just core positions and secondary positions, and other words that align with the purpose of their club. And I would like to pass the floor to the representative of the club to discuss more of the changes made.
Hi, I'm Asia. Like you mentioned earlier, the club constitution was kind of old and we wanted to update it to be more relevant. We also wanted to add one position, so that we can engage more underclassmen in our club so that when they hopefully transition to become the e-board, it's not like they just suddenly go from whatever club position to suddenly have all this responsibility. Just as way to ease in, and like I mentioned, just to update the club constitution to be more relevant to what we want to accomplish.
Are there any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, we will do a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion passes. Okay, to round out new and existing business, announcement about next Senate meeting. I have requested that we meet in the trustees room next Tuesday because at this point in the semester, it's the beginning of a new year and it's a week before where all of you report. I would like to report to all of you. So I'm going to be going over what we've accomplished so far and the path forward for the end of this term. As I stated at the beginning of this meeting, I want this term to end with a bang. And there were a lot of things that I had planned that could not happen due to changes that were happening around us. I'm going to ensure that those things happen before the gavel strikes at the end of this term and we conclude the 24-25 term. That is my promise to all of you. I will go more in depth next week. I will be dressed up in a suit. If you guys would like to dress up as well, feel free, but you do not have to. But I figured it is important for me to be transparent with all of you, for all of you to know exactly what I'm doing, and for all of us to know what exactly the path forward is for the next 2 months. Does that make sense? Okay. So next week, trustees room. Next, we're going to move into, or before we do that, I know Bridget requested a couple of minutes to go over the events process, so I'm going to allocate 3 minutes to that discussion.
I just quickly wanted, I know we talked about at the end of last semester, Leah came in and talked about the new event process that we're working on. So we wanted to give you all an update that we are launching it this semester and going straight into it. The form is really easy. So when you go onto CourseDog, there's going to be some additional questions that you fill out to be able to make us or help us connect you with some of the student workers that are going to be working on the back end of that form. It's a pretty intuitive form, but Leah's going to be sending out an email with more in-depth information as well as next meeting. We wanted to share this week that she's going to come in. We're going to be able to answer questions. She's going to be putting a video up online for it over the week. And we wanted to be able to tell people so that way other club leaders also have the opportunity to take some time to review it and then come and ask questions. With the form, I think the biggest pieces are whoever puts the form in should be the person that's going to be the point of contact for our student workers to be able to reach out to them. So they should have a lot of that information. I know sometimes people try to help each other out with the e-boards and put a form in for CourseDog when you're not really the one running the event. But we would advise that you actually put the person who is going to be the point of contact on it, because we're going to have student workers reaching out to these student leaders. Otherwise, like I said, it's pretty intuitive when you're going through it. If you've put in a request for an event so far, that's upcoming in this semester, please email the student involvement email because we're going to be taking that form offline. It doesn't mean you need to go in and rebook it. It just means that we're going to do a couple additional follow-up questions to make sure that we can get all the information we need to have a clean transition. But we did want to launch it right at the beginning of the semester so that way the transition is not as potentially messy as it might be if we launched it in a few weeks.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Yes.
So I guess I have two questions. So when you said that form is going offline, were you referring to the CourseDog form?
The old one is, you all won't actually really see a difference other than when you go into it now, you'll end up having like some supplemental questions. So you all won't see the transition. It will still be labeled student event form or student.
So then for events that are recurring, like meetings, like needing to book recurring spaces like that, I'm assuming there's an option under that form to do so then.
Yeah, so that was still, I think that's there, when you go into the, like, what type of event there is one that says meeting. Versus student event is like an actual event that you all are hosting.
Any other questions? Yes, Senator Swallow.
I might be wrong on this, but if we booked an event before this happened, are we gonna email?
Yeah, so
student
email
involvement?
student involvement if you booked it before today. So that way we can just reach out and make sure that we get all the information to go in on the back end and update the form.
Any other questions or comments?
Like I said, there's gonna be more information, so Leah will be sending out an email, she'll also be posting a video in the Kodiak by the end of the week, and then she'll be coming in next Tuesday. So I would encourage people to take a look at it over the course of the next week, as well as telling other student e-board or student leaders and e-board members about it, so that way they can come to the next Senate meeting in case we need to go a little bit more in depth into the conversation.
Okay. We're gonna move on to visitors' comments. Are there any visitors' comments? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move into reports, starting with our executive reports, the finance committee. Sasha.
All right, so last Tuesday at 3, the finance committee met with the campus activities board to do their fall audit as well as their spring budget proposal. So expect to see that on next week's agenda. Additionally, this week, Thursday at 5, the finance committee will be meeting with WNEK for an additional allocation hearing. And then next Monday, the 27th at 11, I will be meeting with the Motorsports Club. For those who don't remember, the Motorsports Club was approved last semester, and I'm just going to be meeting with them to kind of go over what they need to do in order to get their budget approved. So expect to see that on the following week's agenda. Also, over break, now that the fall semester has ended, I went through and audited all, I believe it was 62 clubs and organizations from this past fall, and took a look at their reported spending versus what I had for their actual spending. And by the end of this week, I'm going to be sending out some emails to some of those clubs. So basically, if a club had underspent, overspent, if a club sport didn't do their fundraiser, stuff like that, just to kind of check up with that and stay on top of that. And then finally, the next monthly report is going to be due Sunday, February 2nd at 10 p.m. We recognize that with having a short start in December and then obviously now being back, it's almost the end of January, we decided to combine them just so that way we're not doing 2 forms for essentially 2 weeks per month. So that form that's due Sunday, February 2nd at 10 should be updated information from December and January. So later this afternoon, I will post an announcement of that in the Student Leadership Kodiak, as well as send that out to all club executive board members. And then on Sunday, February 2nd, I will post another reminder, just so that way if anyone forgot or just needs another reminder, they can go ahead and get that done. I'll have to report.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Okay. Moving on to the legislative committee.
As for my report, there's still 16 clubs that need constitution revisions, and the legislative committee will be contacting those clubs promptly throughout this semester. And just for other news, unfortunately, my ranking member, Senator Day, had to unfortunately leave. So for my new ranking member, I would like to congratulate Senator McKiernan. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you. Any questions or comments or statements? Okay, moving on. Campus relations.
The lockers that we approved the budget for last semester came in. They're positioned where we had initially talked about, right outside the Senate, the old Senate chambers. But the facilities says that they don't fit there. They have to have a certain amount of clearance for your AC unit or the vent or something. So we're talking about moving them down to the bottom floor of the campus center, next to the old student involvement. It's room 142. That's all.
Any questions or comments about that? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move to public relations.
I don't have much to report right now, but I would like our new senators to stay just a minute so I can take your picture. And I just posted an Instagram reel, so go watch that. Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions or comments about public relations?
Okay, seeing none, we will move to liaison and special committee reports, starting with academic secretary.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I don't have anything to report this week, so stay tuned for next week.
Okay, I did not put it on the agenda, and I'm sorry to spur this on you in the moment, but is there anything to report from the spring event committee?
Sure. I have some exciting announcements regarding our executive board. So both Chairperson Greenwood and now Senator Morrison have been selected to be our co-chairs of marketing. So I am very, very excited to have them in this role and to see what they can do. I have appointed also a chair of operations and logistics. That is going to be Josh Farrell. So again, I'm very excited to have him in that position. And then we are still working through the back end on some other positions that we are going to fill. So stay tuned for hopefully more updates soon on the rest of our report.
Congratulations to both of you, and congratulations to Mr. Farrell as well. Sorry to spare that out.
That's okay.
Moving on, or before we do that, any questions or comments about the spring event? Okay, seeing none, moving on. Senators' comments. Are there any senators' comments at this time? Yes.
Over the winter break, you guys saw posts go out on the Student Hub Instagram about student ambassadors. If you are looking to apply or want more information about it, feel free to let me know. I've been working in there since my first year and I'm now a junior, so I can gladly answer my experience with it. And they're just looking for more people to help with the people that are going to be graduating this upcoming year.
I want to piggyback off of that because I do know most of the, hired student leadership positions on campus are hiring currently. I know the peer advisor applications close on the 28th. So if any of you are interested, be on the lookout for those. They are closing soon. I believe you have about a week left to apply for any of those. Or the 27th, sorry. But yeah, I believe it's similar timeline for resident advisors, if someone could correct me.
Yeah, it's I believe I think it's same day.
Yeah. So, and then there's various other hired leadership positions as well. So if you're interested in that, be on the lookout, go talk to someone in the Student Hub. I'm sure they have all the information there. But yeah, any other senators' comments? Okay. Well, seeing none, I move to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Passes.
122.
Listen, I said I wanted to ease us into the semester.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I woke up from my nap. I woke up from my nap, literally.
Okay.
Now you can go back to bed.
And then let me know if you need anything else.
I don't start as a locker.
No, it actually slid.
I was just in my bed making the agenda. And I was like, oh, mine's so Friday.
I already did. I'm so sad.
How do you feel?
That's free show recording.
I won first at my like why? Tell me why they're doing the application's like what's your name?
You said me,
And then ours is like how do you tell me why you
I was going. This one, we don't want this program.
Yeah. No, it was funny because I'm like, what?
Oh, we didn't close either yet.
I need you just a second.
I'm so happy. I'm watching you because I have to like
See.
Trying to get Cam to.
Yeah.